Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Stefen's crime revealed. Harris wakes up Xander's riddle. Plutocrat. Days of Our Lives reveals that Clyde Weston summoned Stefen DiMera to Statesville and spoke with him outdoors near the hedge rather than in the usual visiting area. Stefen wore a hoodie, and it was ultimately revealed that he wore one the night he went after Harris Michaels as well. There was a flashback of Harris fading Stefen before he pulled the detector doubly. Clyde Weston was dissatisfied that Harris survived since Stefen was supposed to get relief of him for good, so he advised that Stefen would have to amend that if Harris ever recaptured knowledge. Stefen got consolation that Gabby was safe for now and assumed Clyde had commodity to do with Trip Johnson's hijacking, so Clyde suggested that it was for insurance purposes. At the sanitarium, a Bobby scolded Ava Vitali for loitering outside Harris' room and claimed that Rafe Hernandez told him not to let her in. Ava tried her luck with a nanny as well, but she was wedged staying outdoors without answers. At the Salem PD on Friday's day's occasion, Rafe brazened Xander Cook with the news of a $50,000 payment that went into his account from an untraceable coastal account. Xander had no idea where the plutocrat came from, but Justin Kiriakis claimed it was obviously part of the setup. Still, Rafe refocused out. Xander got a textbook asking if it was done, and an viewer verified he was in a hurry near the bistro that night. Xander argued that everyone who went out for a run looked like they were in a hurry and pushed Rafe to see that he was being framed. There was a surveillance print of someone wearing running gear defying Harris, but Justin refocused out that the person's face wasn't visible. Rafe ultimately considered the possibility that this might be a frame-up, but he didn't feel truly vended. Xander mentioned that it might be been one of the DiMeras and told Rafe about the distorted frequenter pushing him to exclude someone. Rafe also heard about Xander's trip to see E.J. DiMera and how he wound up talking to Stefen rather. Once Rafe was gone, Justin advised that Xander could be facing an uphill battle with all the substantiation pointing in his direction. Sarah Horton promised she believed in Xander's innocence and turned down his offer to just start a new life away with Victoria Horton Cook. Xander said he'd understand if Sarah just wanted to move on without him, but she was determined to see him through this. Back at the sanitarium on Friday's DOL show, Ava prayed Rafe to let her visit Harris, so he eventually proved he'd a heart and conceded. Once Ava sat by Harris' bedside and said she couldn't lose him, she gave him a kiss. Harris' eyes ultimately fluttered open, so Ava was overcome with joy and snappily filled Rafe in. Rafe approached him next and got Harris to squeeze his hand as he formally again opened his eyes. When Stefen arrived at the sanitarium, Ava told him the good news about Harris. Stefen smiled at Ava, but it was egregious that he was nervous about his secret potentially blowing up. At Black Patch on Friday's day's occasion, Constantine Meliunis showed up to tease Steve Johnson about Tripp's hijacking. That led to Constantine raving about Katharina's demise, so he said that Steve Johnson was an accessory since he stood by and watched the pawn do it. Constantine felt certain John Black was the pawn from all those times ago since he flashed back those eyes. Steve denied knowing anything and got Constantine to admit he was unconscious when Katharina was attacked, so he'd no evidence. When John showed up, he also denied knowing Katharina or indeed seeing Constantine before he came to Salem. Steve acted like Constantine was just spinning some tale to distract them from his con on Maggie Kiriakis. Constantine mentioned Trip again and acted like Steve would resort to doing terrible effects if he didn't survive, so Steve advised him not to hang his son and threw him out. John eventually gave Steve updates on a many substantiations seeing Trip and Wendy Shin in the city forecourt, but there were no leads on where they went. Coming on Friday's day's occasion, Constantine looked at the card that controlled the pawn and stuck to his plan to retaliate Katharina. Constantine wanted vengeance on Steve and pledged to make John pay the ultimate price once he carried out all his tasks. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Constantine will beget a world of trouble for Steve and John, so stay tuned to DOL. Stefen's doctor disguise, Lonnie cries over Paulina, Holly awake. Days of Our Lives exercise videotape for the week of February 26. March 1st reveals that Nicole DiMera and E.J. DiMera will get a shocking wake-up call when they hear Holly Jonas calling out on the Examiner. E.J. and Nicole will rush to Holly's room and find that she's indeed recaptured knowledge, so they'll surely celebrate that news. Still, Holly wouldn't understand why she's been in a coma, so she'll drive E.J. and Nicole to tell her the whole story. Of course, there's one piece of the mystification that indeed Nicole and EJ don't know for sure. Nicole asks Holly where she got the medicines in DOL's daily exercise videotape, but Holly may not flash back at first. It's up to Holly to clear Tate Black's name, but her fuzzy memory could get in the way. After Lonnie Grant is officially released from captivity, she'll head back to Salem for a visit with Eli Grant. Paulina Price is recovering from a heart attack that happened following her recent surgery, so she could use a good cure of happiness right about now. Days spoilers say Paulina will squeal with joy over Lonnie and Eli's return. There'll be some cute moments as Paulina, Lonnie and Chanel DiMera enjoy a group clinch at the sanitarium. Although Lonnie will put on a smile around Paulina, she'll intimately admit to Abe Carver that she's really upset about her mama. Lonnie will tear up and get some comfort from Abe as this family extremity continues. Unfortunately, Kayla Johnson will deliver some terrible updates regarding Paulina's condition so that LL give Lonnie and the others another reason to fret. Next, there'll be further questions swirling about Everett Lynch aka Bobby Stein. Everett will suffer some tests and face Marlena Evans' questions at the sanitarium before he fills Chad DiMera in laterally. You love her? We do and indeed know who you really are. Chad yells in Day's daily promo. It's clear that Chad will flip out over Stephanie Johnson getting tangled up in all this heartbreaking drama, so he'll rip into Everett over the mess. At Statesville, Days spoilers say Clyde Weston will make a phone call to Stefen DiMera and push him to finish the job now that Harris Michaels is awake. Stefen will fire back at Clyde since he wouldn't see how he's supposed to take Harris out when he's under surveillance at the sanitarium. Clyde may act like that's Stefen's problem to break and prompt him to figure it out, or differently Gabby Hernandez DiMera will land in an early grave. Stefen will eventually pose as a masked croaker and supposedly plan to deliver a fatal injection, so he'll be ready to make some bold moves to silence Harris. Harris quizzed, Stefen panics, Marlena versus Everett, Wendy's health crisis Days of Our Lives reveal that Rafe Hernandez questions Harris Michaels. Stefen DiMera panics over Harris waking up. General Hospital highlights Marlena Evans quizzes Everett Lynch while Stephanie Johnson observes. Plus, Wendy Shin has a fear attack while in prison. Days of Our Lives Marlena Evans versus Everett Lynch DOL reveal that Everett is questioned. This time it'll be Marlena who quizzes Everett about his history. Marlena and Everett's discussion is under the vigilant eyes and cognizance of Stephanie Johnson. Days of Our Lives Harris quizzed, Stefen panics, Marlena versus Everett, Wendy's health crisis. Is it possible that Everett truly doesn't flash back his life with Jada Hunter? Is it also possible that Everett was a bad Joe, but the trauma made him good? Detergents have done this ahead, so it could be again. DOL Harris Michaels quizzed over at the sanitarium. Rafe questions Harris about the firing. While Stefen shot Harris under Clyde Weston's orders, the operative survived. Now Harris has woken up, but what exactly will he tell Rafe? Will Harris tell Rafe the whole verity, or falsehood in order to cover Ava Vitale? Days of Our Lives Wendy Shin's health crisis. Days of Our Lives reveal that Wendy and Trip Johnson will still be held internee. While locked in that giant essence vault, this would be the worst time for a health extremity. Also read, DOL Clyde and Stefen's mysterious meeting. Was Stefen really Harris' shooter? Still, that's exactly what happens. Wendy ends up having a massive fear attack. How will Trip handle Wendy's fear attack? While Trip is known for being cool under pressure, he does have his limits. Trip's face after the double hijacking showed he was formerly close to his breaking point. DOL on, suckers can also anticipate Ava to be overjoyed and relieved over Harris waking up from the coma. Still, Stefen will be visibly nervous. Ava might catch on to this and question Stefen. Also read, Days of Our Lives star Deidre Hall opens up about John's history as the pawn. It's teased that coming week, Clyde will shoot Stefen to Harris' sanitarium room to finish the job. Will Stefen really be suitable to follow through with it, however? Which plot are you looking forward to seeing the most on Monday, February 26th? What are your prognostications for Trip, Wendy, Ava, Harris, and Stefen? What does the unborn hold for Marlena, Stephanie, Everett, and the other residers of Salem?